Grainmaker. Welcome, everyone, to the Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, a Prairie Proud wrestling podcast covering everything from Winnipeg to worldwide. My name is Blair Pacheco. I hope you're doing well, having a great day, evening, weekend, whenever it is you're sitting down listening to this. Now, I am very hyped for my guests this week because they started off, they were on a tear out in Ontario. Now they're on a tear out in the Pacific Northwest. They're ripping it up. They're doing great things. Joining me this week on the Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, it's Jae-Lynn Hill. Jae-Lynn, how's it going?
Hello. Good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I have to ask because this past weekend, we're recording this, end of March 30th. This past weekend, you made your debut at BOOM Pro Wrestling. So I want to ask what it was like experiencing the Boom Box for the first time and being a part of the Coco Harriet Invitational.
It was incredible. I'm super excited that I got to be there, especially for the all women's show too. Seeing all the women who have done incredible things like Amira, Zoe Sager, of course, Nicole Matthews, seeing everyone that inspires me there too. Cherry Blossom was really nice because I feel like it's nice to come here and be welcomed and then have all these women that like I wasn't exposed to in Ontario, and see them here and like see what they're doing. I think it's very incredible.
Yeah, that's one thing I love is, since, Boom started doing this, this sort of event, and then you've seen it a couple of elsewhere. I know C4 has done all women shows as well. WPW did an all women's tournament recently. It's great seeing just, all getting the spotlight on women's wrestling and, promoting it more, because you can go to an independent show and there not even be one women's match on there. And it's like, guys, it's 2026. What are we doing here? So it's nice to see some promotions doing this.
Yeah. Even seeing Drea Mitchell and Kristara and what they've been doing. It was nice to see them on the weekend. It kind of reminds me of home, just because they're kind of close to Ben Ortmanns too from Ontario. So it reminds me of home, which is really nice.
Definitely. So, I mean, I had mentioned before you started off in Ontario, and we'll talk about that, your training and everything in a little bit, but I want to know, what was your first sort of like, not experience, but your introduction to professional wrestling? Like, where did you first see it? What was it that kind of grabbed your attention?
Yeah. My dad grew up watching it and he's always been a huge fan. And I remember going over to his place and he'd always have it on. And eventually I just kind of got hooked, and like I can't even tell you why I did at the beginning, to be honest. But my first match I watched was SummerSlam 2013, John Cena versus Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
And that's kind of when I just watched it and was like, what is this? And then so I went home back to my mom's place and kind of watched wrestling, and then I ended up talking about it with my dad, and he just couldn't believe that I like watched it on my own time. And then I grew up just going to a lot of shows with my dad. I played rugby in high school, so I kind of wanted to continue a sport after high school, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And wrestling was always in the back of my head, but I just didn't know you could actually do it here, or back in Ontario as well. So I got my dad to reach out to a couple places, and then CrossBody reached out to us, and then I was able to go there.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice that you were able to have something like that you could share, with your dad, like having that bond to professional wrestling. I know, like, hearing stories of like my grandparents taking my mom to AWA shows way back when, stuff like that. It's like, it's nice when you can have that sort of connection with a parent or grandparent.
100%, especially moving away from home. Obviously I miss my parents, but when I'm here, I feel like when I'm at wrestling, I always feel like my dad's just there, because anytime I've been at wrestling, it's always been with him. So even when I'm away from home and I go to these events, I'm like, I just feel like he's there. It's hard to explain, but I'm just like, oh.
Now, I like that, you had mentioned, you played rugby growing up, and, coming out of, like high school and all that, it's like you still wanting to do a sport, but like it's your options are sometimes limited for what you can do because like, a lot of the, like, if you want to play hockey, like it can be still a high level hockey, if you wanted to do rugby or football or anything like that, like it's not always as accessible, but professional wrestling was a viable option for you. And I like that's a route you took. Did you like when before you started training, did you think that like this was something that you could really set your teeth into, getting into professional wrestling?
I have always said growing up, I would always watch wrestling and tell my mom, I'm going to be a wrestler when I grow up. And
Mhm.
I would always say that. I just like, I felt it, but like, I didn't actually know it, but I was like, I swear I'm going to. Like, this is insane. I have to try it.
Mhm.
Um, and she always told people, oh, it's just a phase. She's just in a phase. Um, so she thought it was pretty funny when I started wrestling. Yeah.
Well, you had mentioned CrossBody.
Yeah.
They had the training center there. They were also running shows as well, and they got back to you. So, when you decide like this is where I'm going to go for training, how are you feeling your first day? What was that experience like, stepping foot into the CrossBody studios?
Yeah. It was just so crazy to see people training in a ring. And like, I always go back to this moment when I think like, oh, I haven't made it as far as I want to, or like, um, you kind of think you always look at people and are like, oh, I wish I was there, or oh,
Mhm.
like I'm not good enough, or like, you know what I mean? And so I think at the beginning, just like going back and thinking about even the first time stepping into the ropes, like it's just such a crazy experience that like I never thought I'd be able to do that. So like I always go back to that feeling. Um, and it was just insane. Again, like my dad was there with me, and like I think it was more just like overwhelming too, because I just never thought that I could do it. And then to get in there and like roll around and actually love it. Um, we were driving home and I told my dad, I'm like, I'm doing this. But we lived 2 hours away from Cambridge. So it I was in grade 12 and it would have been um like that 2 hour drive there and 2 hours back when I would go. So they were like, my parents said, if you can pay for it and you can drive yourself, then you can go.
Mhm.
And I just started doing it. Like I was like, okay, like if that's the two things, like okay, I'll do that. Like I don't care. Like um yeah. So I just did that.
I mean, that is commitment there because, 2 hours there, 2 hours back, that's a sixth of your day right there in driving. Like,
Yeah. I was going when I started in May, I was going to school in September.
okay.
Um and it was too far away to continue wrestling there. So I took breaks in between.
Mhm.
Um but between my second and third year for the summer, I moved to Cambridge so that I could go like more consistently.
Oh, nice.
And I didn't have that drive. So that was very helpful.
So, I mean, what was it like? Because I know Ben Ortmanns was running CrossBody, so you're learning from him. What was it like learning from Big Ben Ortmanns, who's, known all across Canada?
It was amazing. He's an incredible person. Um, sorry, I get really emotional when I talk about crossbody.
No.
Um, I sorry, I don't know why I'm just so emotional. Um, I'm very thankful to have learned from Ben, but also Tyler Loveman.
Mhm.
Um, because I had a rough year this past year at school, and like I would have not got through it if it wasn't for him. So I always go back to him because like I even message him to this day, him and Ben. But um, it's always nice to have that person that's there for you for wrestling, but then also the personal aspect too, because I feel like it's hard to get those separated. So to have that person that's there for you in both is really, really nice. But I I do miss them a lot.
Oh, I bet. Like, because that's where you got your start there and like helping, become where you are now. Like it was a big part of your, like wrestling career so far. So like it's
Hmm.
completely understandable to be emotional about it. I know when I heard that they were not going to be running shows anymore and having to close up, like
Mhm.
that it's not the news you want to hear, because like that was a place where a lot of people were able to get their start, where it was the things you were able to learn there you could take to other places and it would help you immensely. Like something as simple as like the fact that they record all their shows and you're
Mhm.
having to know where the cameras are and all these little things that, maybe some places aren't going to teach you right away. So that was something that I thought was very beneficial going forward for anyone who took training there.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so I wanted to ask, because like, you're starting off training there, you go through it all. Was there anything that really surprised yourself about it? Like that you didn't think that maybe I'd be able to do this, or, like just something that was like surprising in a good way to you?
I think it would honestly have to be when CrossBody closed, because I found out about it and I was at school and I was just finishing up, and my thought process has always been, like, I don't care where I am after school, like, I'll be wherever wrestling is,
Mhm,
um, so I was just thinking, like, of a life in Cambridge just because that's where CrossBody was, um, but I also was graduating and wanted, like, just an opportunity at a bigger hospital, for, like, my shoot job, just so that I could kind of, like, gain experience there, so that if I ever had to move away for wrestling again, it could kind of be like easier for like personal life as well.
mhm.
So I was shocked when I found out that it was closing. And I kind of was just like, oh, what do I do? Because I never thought about like going somewhere else. And then my professor had actually posted about the Vancouver hospital um, online. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just apply. And then I because I knew about Lionsgate Dojo and I was like, okay.
Mhm,
So then I did that. Um, I messaged Lionsgate Dojo as well and talked to them about it. And then I didn't tell anyone, none of my friends or family, that I even applied out here. Um, because I was like, I just feel like everyone's instinct is to talk about like, what if this happens? What if this happens? And all the negatives. And I tend to overthink. So I've tried to be more spontaneous. So I was like, well, like if I don't like it, I don't like it. But if wrestling's there, then like how bad can it be if I
yeah.
don't like it there? Because I've never been here before. So once I accepted the job and everything and like it was finalized that I was moving, I told everybody, but I was like, I can't tell anybody because I don't want it to influence my decision.
Yeah, and that can be tough sometimes, because like just kind of putting it out there, and then then you're going to hear people's thoughts, and even good or bad, it can alter your own like kind of thought process on things. And sometimes you just need to like do something for you without hearing what other
Hmm.
people think, or like suggestions. So like that's a huge step. What was that like, going from a place like CrossBody to Lionsgate? Obviously, both fantastic places to learn, but
Hmm.
how was that transition for you?
Yeah, I think at the beginning I was more nervous than anything, just because I didn't know, like, I haven't been to Vancouver in general and everything was going to be new. So I was kind of overwhelmed at the beginning, but training wise, it's probably been the best decision I've ever made, to be
Yeah.
honest. Um, there's incredible coaches. Every single one of them have such amazing perspectives, and like everything you learn, like can differ from each coach, and you can get so many different perspectives on different things. And um, learning from the people that train there, they're also incredible people. Like everyone's just so nice and welcoming, and um, there's just like so many people that train there too, which is nice too. So you're training with different people. I feel like at CrossBody, there was kind of three of us that would be super consistent,
Mhm.
which kind of makes it hard sometimes. But yeah, I sometimes I just laugh to myself because I'm like, I don't even know how I ended up here. Like it kind of just worked out in a weird way, but it's crazy how things just happen like that. But I'm incredibly grateful to be here.
Definitely. I mean, you see the people, like the trainers, the people who have come out from Lionsgate Dojo, like they're doing great things there. So to be able to be a part of that team and learning from just some of the best wrestlers and, not just Canada, but North America, it's a great experience. So I have to ask,
Mhm.
we'll rewind a little bit, but your first match, how long after training before you were able to have that?
It's it's hard because I was inconsistent with training. Like, I would go away to school and I wouldn't wrestle from the September to May.
Mhm.
So, I would say, like, altogether, it would probably have been a year.
Okay.
Yeah, like, when you really shorten it into, like, consistent months. Um, yeah. It's hard when people ask me that question just because I had, like, so many breaks in between,
Yeah.
that I'm kind of actually consistent, like, now. Um, but yeah, I would say about a year.
Who was your first match with?
It was me and Kylie Rae versus Crystal Moon and Gabriel Fuerza.
See, I knew you had wrestled with Kylie Rae. I did not know that was your first match.
Yeah,
Uh, h-
yeah.
How nervous are you heading into a match like that?
To be honest, I thought I would be more nervous. I was just so excited. And, like, part of me also, because I look up to Kylie Rae so much, couldn't believe that I was gonna, like, meet her even. That,
Mhm.
like, I wasn't even thinking about the match. I was just like, I can't believe that, like, I get to meet someone who's inspired me up to this moment, and, like, I get to have that moment with her.
Mhm.
Um, that was kind of more like what I was thinking about. And I was just super excited. Um, yeah.
How did the match go?
It went good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Um,
W- was
Obviously having the experienced people in that match, definitely helped, but it was really good. Yeah.
That's good. Was like afterwards, were you, I mean, even beforehand, were you able to chat with Kylie a little bit, being an inspiration for you? Just wondering if you were able to like get some feedback or just like, chat a little bit just about wrestling.
Yeah, we did. I drove her back to the airport, and that was really nice to just talk to her about wrestling in general. And um even like after your first match, like, oh, like, okay, what's next? And we talked about when we would have a match together, which was it was really nice to chat with her about that as well. You're kind of on a high though after your first match that you don't really like, you're not even thinking. So yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where I know like even the first time I did commentary, like I think I was
Mhm.
wide awake for 4 hours afterwards being like, I can't believe I actually did this. And then you're over analyzing every single thing you did. But all in all, it's like it's just a great feeling to be a part of it and finally like getting your foot in there and doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah. Especially like even just recognizing the support you have, like my siblings mean the world to me, and my two brothers, they flew in from Alberta to surprise me for my debut match, which was like, and they just had the weekend off, so it was like for the one night.
Mhm.
Um, and those are moments that you'll just like never forget. Like that's probably one of my favorite things that's happened in my life is um, having them there too.
That's really incredible. I'm glad that you were able to share that with your family. That's awesome.
Hmm.
Um, I have to ask, what did Pops think? First time seeing you wrestle. How was he feeling in the crowd?
Yeah, he loved it. He also couldn't believe that I was wrestling with Kylie too. Um, but yeah, he was loving it.
Um, Obviously Kylie's been a big inspiration for you, but who else has kind of inspired you or helped kind of shape who you are today when it comes to wrestling?
Yeah, one of the first people I started watching was at the time Sasha Banks.
Mhm.
Um, and that's who I first started watching, and then it became Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. Um, but I would say right now, especially developing like style, I would say Brian Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr., um, Johnny Gargano. Those are probably top three for me
Yeah.
right now, for
It,
sure.
I mean, an incredible list of people to like kind of help mold who you are with your like wrestling tastes, because like you named some of the best women's wrestlers out there, and then three of the best men's ones too. Like, you can't go wrong with that list.
And like watching Nicole Matthews, it like it blows my mind. She's so fluent with everything, and her technique, like I can't. I love watching her wrestle. I get so excited.
So, like, you're sitting there in training, and you're almost like, yeah, I'm here for a reason. I can't just be a fan and watch the wrestling. I gotta, pay attention.
Yeah. I was at a Boom show watching, and Nicole Matthews wrestled, and then after Terry Blossom wrestled, and I was crying, and then Jackie Lee, he kept looking over at me, and he was like, "Are you okay?" I just love wrestling.
Oh. Well, it goes with like something I had Cherry on the podcast a few weeks ago, and
hmm
she talked about like wrestling making you feel something. And
hmm
those are some of the best moments, some of the best matches where you're watching it and you can feel, the goosebumps on your arm, or like your jaw dropping, and just knowing what you're seeing is something like incredible. And it doesn't have to be like the most technical match. It's just like having that feeling. And I think that's something that we kind of forget about, even as fans or people just involved with wrestling. Sometimes it's just about the feeling with it.
hmm Yeah, for sure. It's an incredible feeling being out there. I mean, there's honestly, you can't even compare it to anything, to be honest. There's nothing like it.
Mhm.
Just even having the crowd, and like for me, like I always got to keep busy to keep the mind quiet, is what I always say. And being out there and like feeling that the crowd is like they're escaping things too, like they're just focused on this match, and like you're just bringing everyone together in
Mhm.
one room, and I think it's just like a beautiful form of art.
Did you notice much differences wrestling in front of, on an Ontario crowd as opposed to the BC ones? Was there any difference, or did it seem pretty standard across?
I would say standard. Boom has a very good crowd.
Yeah.
They love it. Yeah. It's yeah. That's probably one of the things.
Now, I have to ask, because I know that you wrestled for the most recent Dusk Pro show,
Yes.
teaming up with the Short Kings. Now, were you made an honorary member of the Short Monarchy? Because I am a big fan of the Short Kings. I'm picking up Mars from the airport tomorrow, so I have to ask, what was it like teaming up with the two Short Kings?
It was actually really fun. They're very nice. They're very patient and understanding, which is really nice.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, they're incredible people. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a really fun match. I hope that I can get in the ring with them again.
Like, one of the things that I like is that, like, you get such a wide variety of people that you can wrestle with out there, because you have, like, the sort of veterans that have been there for a while that are kind of shaping and molding, the next generation. And like, there's been classes that have come through Lionsgate, and it still seems like more coming through there. And it's always new, fresh faces to wrestle out there in BC. And then when you get the fly-ins as well, like, it seems like it's a very healthy scene out there in BC. Are you
hmm
feeling the same way right now?
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's super supportive too. And I mean, again, everyone's just, I think that Lionsgate Dojo trains um their trainees very well, because like I notice a lot of differences between like them and other people, or like even me, like some things I'm like, oh, like that's a like really good detail that like I don't know. And seeing that, it definitely inspires me too, to be like, okay, I'm on the right track, like I'm where I need to be. They're just like very detail oriented in like the best way.
Mhm.
um and I really enjoy watching the shows where it's mostly Lionsgate Dojo trainees, because then again, like it inspires me and I can study that, and yeah, I'm very appreciative.
Nice. Now I know the match with Kylie Rae was one that, really meant a lot to you, but have there been other matches or moments that you're exceptionally proud of?
Um I would say I had my second match in Montreal,
Okay.
and I think just because I had so much support on my first match leading up to it, and like just Ben being there and everyone being there that like supported me, it made me feel like comfortable.
Hmm.
But going to Montreal, um, without that, and like just like betting on yourself, but like it being my second match, it was nice to be like, okay, I can do this myself. Like I'm very uncomfortable, but like I can do this. Like you have to be uncomfortable to grow. So
Hmm.
not having all that like support in a way. I mean everyone's so nice in Montreal, but again, like going there myself and like again not having like, oh Ben, what do you think about this idea?
Yeah.
Just kind of doing it myself. I feel like I really needed that, especially in a second match. It was like a lovely experience. I love Montreal. It's so
I've
beautiful there.
I've never been. It's on my list of places to go. So hopefully one
It
day.
has a very lovely vibe. My sister and I went back and we're like, yeah, we have to come back here. It's beautiful.
Nice. The closest I've been was I went to Ottawa. Like this is a while
Mm,
back, and I know like that's right near. Um, I can't remember like which Quebec city is like right near there. I used to know. I don't know if it's Gatineau, but like I know that like we went for a tour and they're like, oh yeah, that's like Quebec right over there, and I'm like, oh cool, you know. But it's nice knowing that it was that close. So one day I'll make my way over to Quebec and fail at my French speaking, but I'll try. I'll try my damnedest. um Obviously, we're a few months into 2026. Do you find that you set goals for yourself, or do you try not to put too much pressure on it with that? Like how do you kind of navigate that with like setting yourself up for like things you want to accomplish?
yeah. I think for this year especially and moving here, I know I've technically been here 7 months, but um I think when I set goals, sometimes I set them like too high for the timeline I give myself, and then I just kind of get more overwhelmed and like and down on myself if I don't reach that. But I think for me, just because I love wrestling, it's kind of just going to training and enjoying while I'm there and like enjoying the shows that I get to be on and enjoying the process as it um, comes and as I just like continue to wrestle and gain experience.
Mhm.
So for right now, I'm kind of holding off on that just because I think to me, it kind of puts more pressure on me where I just want to be in the ring and I just love wrestling that um I haven't really done that yet for 2026.
That's fair. So, I mean, obviously, you've been a part of like two very healthy like scenes, out in Ontario and then now in
Hmm.
BC. And, like I'm all for like pumping up others who, may not get a little bit of shine, but like, if there's anyone you've noticed that maybe they're not getting a little bit of recognition, like who's kind of made you excited about professional wrestling, whether it's out in Ontario or BC, that maybe people aren't too familiar with, or maybe they're like just getting started. Is there anyone?
My first thought, which everyone loves her, but like is Cherry Blossom.
Hmm.
Um she's an incredible person. Um and inside the ring, like that's just who she is too, which is super cool. Um I want to say her.
Yeah,
She does get recognition, but I think that she's gonna go super far.
definitely.
Yeah.
So now I always ask for a match recommendation, and it's one that you are personally a fan of. And it can be any promotions, any streaming service, anything like that, any wrestlers, but one that you're a fan of that you think the listener should go and check out.
Yeah, just give me 1 second.
No problem.
I've had like I write them down, but let me
Well, we live in a day and age where
there's
there's
so many.
so many good matches that you have to do this to keep track, because like every week you're privileged to some incredible wrestling. So
Okay. CM. Oh, can I name a few?
of course you can.
Okay. CM Punk versus Alex Shelley, 2005 Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Alex Shelley versus Bandito in Prestige.
That would have been an incredible match to see. Jeez.
Pete Dunne versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk.
Those
There's a few, but
those are some solid matches. I'm liking those. Great picks on those.
Yeah, when I watch matches a few times, I definitely write them down to continue to go back to and just like study more.
Definitely. So for upcoming shows, like where are you going to be that the fans can check you out if you have any upcoming dates or anything like that? Just so people know where they can see you.
Yeah, I'm hoping Boom. Loved that. That was very fun. NEW in May, and then Dusk too as well.
Nice. So I mean, Max, if you're listening, make sure you're booking Jae-Lynn some more. Like, come on, Max. I know you listen, so come on. As social media, where can the people find you online? Or if there's anything else you would like to plug, here's an opportunity.
Okay. Instagram and Twitter, it's just Jae-Lynn Hill.
Perfect.
Yeah, Instagram and Twitter.
Awesome. Jae-Lynn, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Thank you to Jae-Lynn, and thank you for checking out the podcast. I say it every time. I always say it. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to me talk wrestling. If it's your first time listening, you can find me up on all social media, Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast, up on all podcast streaming platforms, and up on YouTube. You could be even watching this up on YouTube right now. So Grainmaker Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. So thanks so much for checking out the podcast. We'll talk soon. Grainmaker.